This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Build Stronger Friendships. Let's explore why adult friendships are vital.
It's so true, Alex. But before we dive into the heart of it, just a quick heads up for our listeners. While we're discussing the psychological benefits of connection, this show isn't a substitute for professional mental health advice. If you're struggling, it's always best to consult with a qualified professional.
That's a great reminder. Now, looking at our focus today, we often think of friendships as something that just happens, especially when we're younger. But as adults, life gets so busy, right? Careers, families, endless to-do lists. It feels like there's less time and maybe even less energy to invest in friendships. Exactly, Lisa. And that's a real challenge. We're not in school anymore. We are naturally thrown together with peers every single day. We have to be more intentional. But the effort? It's so worth it. Think about it. Who do you turn to when you've had an amazing day and you just want to share the joy? Or, more importantly, who is there when life throws you a curveball?
That's such a good point. It's not just about celebrating the good times, but having that strong support system for the tough times. Sometimes, a friend can offer a perspective you hadn't considered, or simply listen without judgment, which can be incredibly healing.
Absolutely. Psychologically, strong friendships are like a buffer against stress. Studies have shown that having a good social network can actually improve our physical health too, helping to lower blood pressure and boost our immune systems. It's like an invisible shield protecting our well-being.
An invisible shield. I like that. So, it's not just a nice to have, but a genuine need for our overall health and happiness. It impacts our minds and our bodies.
Precisely. And it combats loneliness, which is a growing concern in today's society. Even with all our digital connections, many adults report feeling isolated. Real, in-person, or dedicated to connection friendships offer a warmth and depth that scrolling through social media just can't replicate. They remind us that we're part of something bigger, that we belong.
That sense of belonging is so fundamental, isn't it? It's like finding your tribe. And these friendships help shape who we are. They challenge our thinking, introduce us to new ideas and experiences. My friends have absolutely broadened my horizons in ways I couldn't have imagined on my own.
They really do act as mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves back at us, and sometimes showing us what we need to work on. But they're also a source of growth. When you see a friend navigating a challenge with grace or pursuing a passion with dedication, it can inspire you to do the same in your own life. It's a positive feedback loop of encouragement.
So, it's about emotional support, physical health benefits, combating loneliness, personal growth. It really is a multifaceted importance, isn't it? It touches almost every area of our lives.
It absolutely does. And sometimes the very act of nurturing these friendships can strengthen our sense of self. When you're a good friend, you're practicing empathy, compromise, and active listening. These are skills that benefit all areas of your life, not just your friendships. You become a more well-rounded, capable person.
And I think for many of us, especially when we're navigating major life transitions like starting a new job, moving cities, or becoming parents, our friends are the constant. They can be the anchor that keeps us grounded when everything else feels like it's in flux.
The anchor that keeps us grounded. That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. Our friends provide that stability. They're the people who knew us before, the people who see us through whatever life is currently throwing at us, and the people we look forward to navigating what's next with. They're a living history of our lives and a hopeful promise for the future.
It's almost like they help us build our own personal resilience. Knowing you have people in your corner makes you feel more capable of facing whatever comes your way. It's not just about being rescued, it's about feeling empowered.
Empowered is a great word for it. Today was about setting the stage, understanding the profound why behind investing time and energy into our adult friendships.
Because without that foundation, Without understanding why it's so crucial, it's easy to let those opportunities slip away. It's a fundamental pillar of a fulfilling adult life, alongside career, family, and personal well-being.
Exactly. So, in essence, adult friendships are vital for our emotional well-being, our physical health, combating isolation, fostering personal growth, and providing that essential sense of belonging and support. They are indeed the unseen threads that hold the fabric of our lives together.
A beautiful way to put it, Alex. We've laid the groundwork today, understanding just how significant these connections are.
Next episode, laying the foundation, understanding your friendship inventory.
Sounds like a great place to start.
It is. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we explored why adult friendships are so incredibly important for our well-being. Now, it's time to get practical. Today, we're diving into laying the foundation, understanding your friendship inventory.
That's right, Alex. Last episode, we established the why behind our friendships. This episode is all about the what and where of our current social connections. It's like taking stock before starting a big project, right? You need to know what tools you have and what materials are already on hand.
Exactly, Lisa. And that's where the concept of a friendship inventory comes in. Think of it as a personal audit of your social life. It's not about judging yourself, but rather gaining clarity. We all have different types of relationships, and understanding them better can help us nurture them more effectively.
So, a friendship inventory, what does that actually look like? Is it like a spreadsheet or just giving it some thought?
It can be as simple or as detailed as you like. For some, it might be quiet reflection. For others, jotting down names and thoughts in a notebook. The core idea is to identify who is in your life right now and what each relationship brings. Let's start by thinking about categorizing these friends. Imagine your current friendships are like different kinds of resources.
Resources. I like that. So, what are some of these categories?
We can start with the closet confidants. These are your absolute ride or dies. The people you can tell anything to, who know you deeply, and who you trust implicitly. They are your inner circle. These are the friendships that often feel effortless because there's a strong foundation of mutual understanding and history.
Ah, yes. The people you feel completely yourself around, no filter needed. Those are precious.
Absolutely. Next, let's consider our supportive allies. These are friends who genuinely have your back. They might not know every single detail of your life like your confidants do, but when you're going through something tough, they're the first ones you know you can count on for encouragement, advice, or just a comforting presence. They offer a strong sense of solidarity.
That makes sense. They're the ones who show up, even if they perhaps don't have the same depth of history as the closet confidants. They offer reliable backing.
Precisely. Now let's think about activity partners. These are the friends you do specific things with. Perhaps it's a workout buddy, a book club member, someone you love to see movies with, or a fellow hobbyist. These friendships are often built around shared interests and activities.
This is so relatable. I have friends I only see when we go hiking, and others I only see at our weekly board game night. It's fun, but maybe not the kind of friendship where you discuss your deepest fears.
Exactly. And that's perfectly okay. These friendships are valuable for different reasons. They bring joy, shared experiences, and add variety to our social lives. Don't underestimate the power of these connections. They can often be gateways to deeper friendships as well.
Okay, so we have closet confidants, supportive allies, and activity partners. Are there any other categories to consider for our inventory?
Indeed. We also have acquaintances or casual connections. These are the people you know and generally like. You might see them at work, in your neighborhood, or at social events. You can have pleasant conversations with them and enjoy their company, but there isn't a deep emotional bond. These connections are important for broadening our social networks and can sometimes develop into deeper friendships over time.
So even people we don't know intimately still play a role. It's not just about the high intensity friendships.
Correct. And finally, we might have dormant connections. These are friends from the past with whom you've lost touch, but you still hold a fondness for them or recognize the value they once brought to your life. Recognizing these can be the first step in potentially reconnecting.
Wow, listing them out like that really clarifies things. So, we've identified these categories. What's the next step in this inventory process?
The next step is reflection. For each person in your identified categories, ask yourself a few questions. For your closet confidants and supportive allies, ask, how often do I connect with them? When we do connect, do I feel energized or drained afterward? Do I feel truly seen and heard in these relationships? Are my needs being met? And am I meeting theirs?
Those are important questions. It's easy to just assume a friendship is good without really checking in on the actual quality of the interaction.
It really is. For your activity partners, you might ask, are we still enjoying the shared activity? Is this friendship still serving its purpose for me? And vice versa? For acquaintances, you might consider, do I enjoy interacting with this person? Is there potential for this to grow if I wanted it to?
And for the dormant connections?
For dormant connections, the question is simpler. Do I miss this person's presence in my life? Is there a desire to rekindle this friendship? Sometimes the answer is no, and that's fine. But sometimes you might realize there's an opportunity you've been missing. So, to recap what we've covered today, we introduced the concept of a friendship inventory as a way to understand our current social landscape. We explored different categories of friendships: closet confidants, supportive allies, activity partners, casual connections, and dormant connections. And we discussed key questions to ask ourselves about each type of relationship.
Taking stock like this is really empowering. It helps us see where our social energy is going, what's working well, and where there might be room for growth or intentional effort. It's the essential first step in building stronger, more fulfilling friendships.
You've got it. Understanding your current friendships is the foundation upon which you can build future connections and deepen existing ones. It's about being intentional with our social lives. Next episode, investing quality time, making every moment count. Welcome back to Build Stronger Friendships. Last time, we took stock of our current connections, our friendship inventory. Now, let's tackle something many of us find a little daunting: reconnecting with old friends.
Oh, I know. It's like, do I even remember their last name? Will they remember me? Will they be busy? There's a whole mental obstacle course, isn't there?
Absolutely, Lisa. But think about it. These are people who already know us, who have shared history with us. They represent a valuable reservoir of connection, our existing social capital. Reviving those bonds can be incredibly rewarding and, frankly, easier than starting completely from scratch.
So, where do we even begin? Do we just send a cryptic message like, hey, remember me?
You could, but maybe a more thoughtful approach is in order. The key is to make it easy for them to respond and to set a low-pressure tone. One simple way is to find a common thread. Did you both love a particular band? Did you work on a specific project together? Did you share a niche hobby?
Ah, so referencing a shared memory or interest. That makes sense. It's like a gentle reminder of who you are to them without demanding a full life update immediately.
Exactly. You could say something like, hi, friend's name, I was just listening to that old band name, album we used to jam to, and it made me think of you. Hope you're doing well. It's light, it's specific, and it opens the door for a reply.
I like that. It's not asking for a huge commitment, just acknowledging a shared past. What if it's been years and you've really lost touch?
That can feel even more intimidating, I understand. In those cases, social media can be a surprisingly effective, albeit sometimes passive tool. You might see a post from them about something interesting, a new job, a trip, a passion project. A simple, genuine comment could be a great icebreaker. Wow, friend's name, that trip to location looks incredible. So happy to see you exploring the world.
So, instead of a direct message, you're engaging publicly first?
For some, yes. It's less confrontational. It shows you're paying attention, you're present in their current online life, even if you haven't connected directly in a while. And if they respond positively to that, then a direct message becomes much less daunting.
What about the fear of rejection? Or them being too busy to rekindle things?
That's a valid concern, and it's important to manage our expectations. Not every reconnection will blossom back into the close friendship it once was, and that's okay. People change, lives diverge. The goal isn't necessarily to recapture the past exactly as it was, but to see if there's potential for a new, meaningful connection in the present.
So, we shouldn't go in with the expectation that they'll drop everything and be our best friend again overnight.
Precisely. Think of it like tending to a dormant plant. You don't expect it to burst into full bloom the moment you water it. You nurture it, give it sunlight, and see how it responds. Your initial outreach is that first watering.
That's a great analogy. So, after the initial icebreaker, what's the next step?
If you get a positive response, a reply that's more than just a polite thanks, then you can suggest a low-pressure get-together. Coffee is always a classic for a reason. It's short, flexible, and doesn't require a huge time commitment. It was great hearing from you. I'd love to catch up properly sometime soon. Are you free for a quick coffee next week?
And if they say they're too busy?
Then you can either leave it at that or gently propose another time. No worries at all. Life gets crazy. Maybe down the line then. Either way, it was lovely to hear from you. You've extended the invitation, you've been gracious, and you've left the ball in their court without pressure.
It sounds like a lot of it is about being patient and understanding.
It really is. And actively listening when you do reconnect. People change, and their stories will have evolved. Be genuinely curious about their journey since you last spoke. Ask open-ended questions. What's been the most exciting thing you've worked on lately? Or what's something new you've learned or experienced that you're passionate about?
I think that's key, showing you care about who they are now, not just who they used to be. And what if the conversation feels a bit forced at first?
That's where those shared memories can be a lifesaver. You can gently steer the conversation back to common ground. Remember that hilarious time when X happened? I still laugh about that. It's a way to bridge any silences and remind yourselves of the shared foundation you have. It brings back that feeling of familiarity.
So, to recap the art of reconnection. 1. Start with low pressure, specific outreach referencing shared history or interests. 2. Utilize social media subtly for less direct initial contact if needed. 3. Manage expectations, aiming for a present connection, not just a past replication. 4. Suggest low commitment meetups like coffee when a positive response is received. 5. Be patient and graceful if immediate reconnection isn't possible. And 6. Be genuinely curious and listen to their evolving story.
You've got it. And remember, the effort you put in to reconnect is a testament to the value you place on that friendship. Even if it doesn't become what it once was, the act of reaching out can often bring a sense of closure, a reaffirmation of positive past experiences, and sometimes the surprising joy of rediscovering a valuable connection. It's about opening those old doors and seeing who's still on the other side, ready to share a new chapter.
It really does feel like exercising a muscle we might have let atrophy a little, and the payoff can be immense.
Absolutely. Because in the grand tapestry of our lives, those threads of past friendships, when carefully rewoven, can add such rich texture and strength to our present. Next episode, investing quality time, making every moment count. Welcome back to Build Stronger Friendships. Last time, we explored the art of reconnection, looking at how to reach out to old friends and rekindle those valuable bonds. Today, we're diving into something equally crucial: investing quality time. It's not just about having friends, but about nurturing those relationships by making the time you spend together truly count.
That's such a great point, Alex. In our busy modern lives, it often feels like there are never enough hours in the day. We juggle work, family, personal errands, and suddenly that coffee date or catch up call with a friend gets pushed back and back and back.
Exactly. And that's why we need to shift our perspective from quantity of time to quality of time. It's not about spending hours upon hours with every single friend. It's about making the moments you do have truly meaningful and impactful for the friendship. Think of it like investing. You want to put your energy where it will yield the best returns, right?
Absolutely. So, how do we make these investments? What does quality time actually look like in practice?
Great question. First, it starts with intentionality. We need to intentionally carve out time for our friends. This doesn't always mean grand plans. It can be as simple as sending a text that says, "Thinking of you. Hope your day is going well." That's an investment. It's a small gesture, but it signals to your friend that they're on your mind.
So, even a brief, thoughtful message can be considered quality time? I like that. It feels less daunting.
It really is. And when we do get together, whether it's for an hour or a whole weekend, the key is to be present. How often do we find ourselves with a friend, but our minds are elsewhere? We're checking our phones, thinking about our to-do lists, or planning what we'll do next.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of that. It's like we're physically present, but mentally checked out.
Precisely. Quality time means putting away the distractions. It means actively listening, being engaged in the conversation, and showing genuine interest in what your friend is saying and experiencing. It's about creating an environment where you can both be fully yourselves and connect on a deeper level.
That makes sense. So, it's about focusing on the person and the connection, rather than the clock.
Exactly. And this can apply to various scenarios. Let's say you have a friend who lives far away. You might not be able to see them face to face regularly. In this case, a video call where you're both fully attentive is far more valuable than a quick, distracted phone call. You're investing your focused energy.
And what about those times when you only have a few minutes? Like running into a friend at the grocery store, or a quick chat after class or meeting. Can those brief encounters be quality time?
Absolutely. Even a few minutes can be incredibly impactful if you use them wisely. Instead of just a quick, "Hi, how are you?" and moving on, take those extra 30 seconds to ask a more specific question. Remember that your friend mentioned they were worried about a presentation? You could ask, "Hey, how did that presentation go?" That shows you remembered and you care. It's about making those fleeting moments count by infusing them with genuine care.
That's a fantastic way to look at it. It's about making those micro moments meaningful. It's like finding little nuggets of gold in your day.
It really is. And to make this a sustainable practice, scheduling is your friend. I know, it sounds unspontaneous, but hear me out. If friendship is a priority, then it deserves a spot on your calendar, just like any other important appointment. Even blocking out 30 minutes for a friend time slot can make a difference.
I can see how that would help. It creates a dedicated space and reminds you to follow through.
There are many ways to schedule quality time without losing that spontaneity. For instance, you could initiate a recurring, casual check-in. Maybe it's a weekly text exchange, a bi-weekly quick phone call, or a monthly coffee date with a few friends. The key is consistency.
I find that having a regular rhythm helps build anticipation and makes it a natural part of life, rather than something you have to constantly renegotiate.
Precisely. And when you're together, focus on connection. What does that mean? It means being curious about your friend's life. Ask open-ended questions. Go beyond the surface level. Instead of asking, "How was your day?" try, "What was the most interesting thing that happened to you today?" Or, "What's been on your mind lately?"
That really encourages deeper conversation, doesn't it? It invites them to share more than just the highlights.
It does. and it shows you're interested in understanding their inner world, not just their daily schedule. Another aspect of quality time is shared experiences. This doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be watching a movie together and discussing it afterwards, trying a new recipe, going for a walk in a different park, or even tackling a small project together.
Shared experiences create memories and strengthen the bond. It's like building a shared history.
Exactly. And these experiences don't need to be expensive or time-consuming. The value comes from the shared engagement and the connection you build during the activity. Remember when we discussed friendship inventory in episode 2? We talked about identifying the types of friendships you have and what you need from them. Quality time needs to be tailored to each friendship.
Right. A more casual friend might benefit from a quick but enthusiastic check-in, while a close confidant might need a longer, more in-depth conversation.
You've got it. It's about understanding the unique needs of each relationship and investing your time accordingly. So, to recap what we've discussed about investing quality time. Firstly, be intentional. Make a conscious decision to prioritize your friendships. Secondly, be present. Put away distractions and actively engage with your friend. Thirdly, use your time wisely, whether it's a few minutes or a few hours. And finally, foster shared experiences and genuine curiosity to deepen your connections.
That's a wonderful summary, Alex. It really breaks down this often abstract concept into actionable steps. It's not about having endless free time, but about maximizing the time we do have with our friends, making each interaction a valuable investment in our relationships.
Well said, Lisa. And this proactive approach to time investment is what truly differentiates a casual acquaintance from a deep, lasting friendship.
It's about nurturing those connections so they can truly thrive.
Indeed. And that leads perfectly into our next episode, where we'll explore another vital ingredient for strong friendships, embracing vulnerability.
Can't wait.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we covered investing quality time. Now let's tackle embracing vulnerability.
Absolutely, Alex. Vulnerability can sound a bit daunting, right? It's that feeling of being exposed, of showing your less than perfect sides. But as we'll discuss today, it's also the most direct path to those deep, authentic connections we crave.
Exactly. Think about it. We build surface level connections all the time. We talk about the weather, our jobs, what we did over the weekend. But a true, strong friendship goes beyond that. It requires sharing our inner world, our hopes, our fears, our struggles. And that, fundamentally, is vulnerability.
So, to start, Alex, how do we even begin to define vulnerability in the context of friendship? It's not just about complaining, is it?
That's a great clarifying question, Lisa. Vulnerability in friendship isn't about airing all your grievances or constantly seeking pity. It's about authentically sharing your true self, including the parts that might feel imperfect or uncertain. It's about saying, "This is me with all my ups and downs, and I trust you enough to see it." This could be sharing a fear you have, a personal worry, a dream you're hesitant to admit, or even a past mistake and how it still affects you.
That makes sense. It's about letting your guard down in a safe space. But how do we actually do that? For many, myself included, that initial step feels like a leap of faith.
It absolutely is a leap of faith, and often it starts small. I like to think of it as dipping your toes in the water before diving in. You might start by sharing a minor worry or a simple personal observation that reveals a bit more about your inner state. For instance, instead of just saying, "I'm tired," you might say, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed today, and honestly, I'm worried about getting this project done on time."
Ah, I see. So it's about adding a layer of personal feeling or thought to a more factual statement. It's not just reporting an event, but sharing your internal experience of it.
Precisely. And the key here is choosing the right moment and the right friend. Is this a friend you've built some trust with? Are they receptive and present in the conversation? Building this trust is a reciprocal process. As you become more vulnerable, you also need to create a safe environment for your friend to be vulnerable in return.
That brings up a really important point. What does it look like when our friends show us vulnerability? How do we respond to that? Because I can imagine some people might freeze up or not know what to do, and that could shut down the openness.
You've hit on a critical aspect, Lisa. When a friend confides in you, whether it's a deep worry or a personal struggle, your response can either strengthen or weaken that bond. The most important thing is to listen with empathy and without judgment. Avoid jumping in with solutions immediately. Often, what a person needs most is to feel heard and understood.
So, active listening is paramount. Nodding, making eye contact, and offering verbal affirmations like, I hear you, or that sounds really tough, can go a long way.
Absolutely. And also, resist the urge to compare their experience to your own or to minimize their feelings. Phrases like, oh, that's nothing, I went through much worse, are incredibly damaging. Instead, validate their feelings. You could say, it's completely understandable why you'd feel that way, or that sound incredibly difficult to navigate.
It's about creating a safe container for their emotions. And as we practice this, both in sharing and in receiving, we build that deeper intimacy. You mentioned earlier that vulnerability is the gateway. Can you expand on that a bit more? What's the transformative power of this shared honesty?
When we are vulnerable and met with acceptance, it creates profound trust. Trust is the bedrock of any deep relationship. When you see that your friend can handle your messy, imperfect self, and you can handle theirs, you develop a deeper belief in the resilience and authenticity of that friendship. This shared honesty breaks down the walls we often put up, allowing for a connection that's more genuine and fulfilling.
It's like peeling back the layers, isn't it? We see the person beneath the social mask, and in turn, they see us. That shared recognition of our humanity, our shared imperfections, is incredibly bonding.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine you're building a house. The foundation is trust, built brick by brick. Part of laying those bricks involves revealing the blueprint of your own inner structure, your fears, your hopes, your insecurities. When your friend sees that blueprint and says, I accept your structure, and I'll build a part of my own next to yours, that's how intimacy grows. It's this mutual unveiling that solidifies the friendship, making it not just a pleasant acquaintance, but a vital support system.
And this process, while challenging, is ultimately what makes friendships feel so meaningful. It's the difference between having 100 acquaintances and a handful of true confidants. It truly elevates the relationship.
It does. And as we wrap up this episode, let's quickly recap. We've discussed that vulnerability in friendship means sharing your authentic self, including your imperfections. It's a practice that starts small and builds trust. When a friend is vulnerable with you, the key is to listen with empathy, validate their feelings, and avoid judgment or comparison. This mutual sharing and acceptance is precisely what fosters that deep intimacy and transforms surface level connections into resilient, meaningful friendships.
So, the takeaway is that leaning into vulnerability, both our own and in how we receive it from others, is essential. It's not easy, but the rewards of deeper trust and authentic connection are immeasurable.
Indeed. Next episode, navigating the nuances, setting healthy boundaries. Welcome back to Build Stronger Friendships. Last time, we explored vulnerability. Today, we're setting healthy boundaries.
Boundaries can sound formal, but they're key to deep, respectful friendships.
Exactly. If vulnerability is opening your heart, Boundaries protect it and respect your friend's heart. They're not about pushing people away, but about creating a safe space for connection. A boundary is a limit that defines acceptable behavior and what you're willing to give. It's knowing your needs and communicating them.
Why are they so important? Like, can't close friends be available anytime?
That can lead to resentment and burnout. Without boundaries, we feel drained or taken advantage of, making it hard to be a good friend. Healthy boundaries protect our energy and well-being, allowing us to be genuinely present. Think of a juggler. Boundaries help them know how many balls they can handle.
That analogy helps. How do we start identifying our boundaries?
It begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to when you feel resentful, overwhelmed, or drained after interacting with a friend. These are signals. Ask yourself, what do I need to feel respected and comfortable? Do you need calls before surprise visits? To limit certain heavy discussions? To say no when you're stretched too thin?
So, it's about understanding our personal limits, not a rigid list.
Precisely. And setting boundaries is a natural follow-up to vulnerability. Sharing your needs and limits is part of being your authentic self.
Okay, we've identified our needs. How do we communicate them kindly?
This is where it gets delicate. The goal is clarity, not confrontation. Use I statements. Instead of, you're always late, try, I feel more respected when we start our meeting on time. Or, if a friend calls late at night with a non-urgent matter, you can say, I take calls until 9 p.m. If it's urgent after that, I can respond in the morning.
So, it's about stating your reality without blaming the other person.
Absolutely. And remember, the delivery matters. A calm, friendly tone is much more effective than an accusatory one. It's about safeguarding your well-being while preserving the friendship.
What if the friend doesn't react well?
That's a valid concern. Not everyone is accustomed to boundaries. Some might feel hurt or defensive initially. In those moments, it's crucial to stand firm, but with empathy. Reiterate that your boundary is about your needs, not a rejection of them. You can say something like, I value our friendship, and this is what I need to make sure it stays healthy for both of us.
It sounds like a test of the friendship in a way.
Sometimes it is. A true friend will respect your limits, even if they need some adjustment time. If they consistently disregard your boundaries, it might indicate a deeper issue with how the friendship is functioning. Healthy friendships are built on mutual respect, and boundaries are a cornerstone of that.
So, boundaries actually strengthen relationships by creating that mutual respect and preventing resentment. It's like building a sturdy fence that clearly defines the property line but still allows for friendly visits.
That's a great way to put it, Lisa. And this is especially important after we discussed vulnerability in the previous episode. Vulnerability without boundaries can lead to oversharing or feeling exposed without adequate protection. Boundaries ensure that our openness is safe and sustainable.
It's all about balance, knowing when to open up and knowing how to protect ourselves. I'm thinking about times I felt a bit resentful because I said yes to something I really didn't have the capacity for.
And many of us have been there. Sometimes, saying no is the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for your friend, as it allows you to give your best when you can say yes. Boundaries aren't about being rigid or unaffectionate. They're about intentional self-care that benefits the entire relationship.
So, to recap, first, become self aware of your feelings and needs. Then, communicate those needs clearly and kindly using I statements. And finally, be prepared to gently reinforce those boundaries if needed, understanding that genuine friends will respect them.
Exactly. Setting boundaries is an act of love. Love for yourself and love for your friendships. It ensures that the connections we build are robust, respectful, and able to withstand the test of time.
That's fantastic advice, Alex. It makes the idea of boundaries feel much more accessible and positive.
I'm glad to hear that, Lisa. These are skills that take practice, but the payoff in deeper, more fulfilling friendships is immense.
Absolutely. It's all about building those strong, healthy foundations we've been talking about throughout the series.
Next episode, we'll be focusing on the art of truly listening and mastering empathetic communication. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we dove deep into setting healthy boundaries.
That's right, Alex. Today, we're exploring one of the most powerful tools in our friendship toolkit, the art of listening.
Exactly. And today, we're focusing on something specific, empathetic listening. This goes beyond just nodding along. Empathetic listening means striving to understand your friend's feelings and perspective, even if you don't necessarily agree with them.
So, it's about stepping into their shoes for a moment.
Precisely. Imagine your friend is sharing a difficult experience. Empathetic listening means you're not just waiting for your turn to speak or formulating advice or even mentally fact-checking what they're saying. You're focused on absorbing their experience, what it feels like for them.
That makes sense. It can be so easy to jump in with our own stories or solutions, but that can sometimes make the other person feel unheard or invalidated.
Absolutely. One of the core components of empathetic listening is what we call active listening. This involves several techniques that show your friend you're fully engaged. Think of nonverbal cues. Maintaining eye contact, for instance, signals that you are present and paying attention.
And turning your body to face them, not just glancing at your phone or looking around the room.
Perfect examples. Another element of active listening is using verbal affirmations. These are small cues that show you're following along. Things like, I see, or tell me more. These aren't meant to interrupt, but to encourage them to continue.
It's like saying, I'm with you, keep going.
Exactly. And this leads us to a more advanced technique, paraphrasing. This is where you briefly restate what your friend has said in your own words. It does two important things. First, it confirms that you've understood them correctly.
And second, it can help them hear their own thoughts and feelings reflected back, which can be incredibly clarifying and validating for them.
You've got it. So, if your friend says, I'm just so frustrated with this project at work, I feel like I'm doing all the heavy lifting and no one appreciates it. Paraphrasing might sound like, so you're feeling really overwhelmed and unappreciated at work because you're carrying a heavy load and others aren't recognizing your efforts.
That's a great way to put it. It mirrors their sentiment without simply repeating their exact words. It shows you've processed what they shared.
And remember when we discussed boundaries in episode 6? This skill of empathetic listening is directly related. When you're really listening to understand your friend's needs and feelings, you're better able to respond in a way that respects both of you. And that helps maintain those healthy boundaries we talked about.
It really does create a feedback loop. Better listening helps us respect boundaries, and respecting boundaries makes space for deeper, more empathetic listening. So, what else can we do to be more empathetic listeners?
Asking open-ended questions is key. Instead of a question that can be answered with a simple yes or no, ask questions that invite elaboration. For example, instead of "Are you okay?" you might ask, "How are you feeling about all of this?" or "What's been the hardest part for you?"
This encourages them to share more details and explore their feelings, rather than giving a closed-off answer.
Right? And it's crucial to try and set aside your own judgments and immediate reactions. We all have our biases and our own experiences, but when we're empathetically listening, the goal is to understand their world, not to superimpose our own onto it in that moment.
It's about creating a safe space for them to be vulnerable, which we touched on in episode 5. True intimacy, whether romantic or platonic, thrives on that sense of being truly seen and understood.
Beautifully put, Lisa. And this brings us to acknowledging and validating their feelings. Even if you don't agree with their perspective or wouldn't react the same way, you can still validate their emotions. Statements like, "That sounds really difficult," or "I can understand why you would feel that way," show your support and understanding without necessarily endorsing their actions or beliefs.
Validation is an agreement. It's acknowledgement. It's saying, I hear that you are feeling X and your feelings are valid, even if I don't fully grasp the situation from your viewpoint.
Exactly. And this is particularly important when conversations involve conflict or disagreement. Empathetic listening allows you to de-escalate tension by showing you're trying to understand the other person's side. It's the first step toward finding common ground or a resolution.
So, to recap what we discussed today, empathetic listening means actively engaging with your friend, trying to understand their feelings and perspective without judgment. We talked about nonverbal cues like eye contact, using verbal affirmations like, uh-huh, and the powerful technique of paraphrasing to confirm understanding.
We also covered asking open-ended questions to encourage deeper sharing, setting aside your own judgments, and the vital skill of acknowledging and validating your friend's emotions. These are all ways to build trust and deepen your connection.
It's so clear how essential this is. When friends feel truly heard and understood, it fosters a profound sense of connection and security in the relationship. It's the bedrock upon which all other friendship skills are built.
Absolutely. Mastering empathetic communication is a continuous practice, but the rewards for your friendships are immense. It's about being a safe harbor, a trusted confidant, and a genuine supporter.
And it reminds me of how we're all navigating life's ups and downs, and having someone who truly listens can make all the difference.
It truly can. Next episode, we'll explore how to translate this deep understanding into actionable support, focusing on how to be a true friend in times of need. Welcome back. Last time, we dove deep into the power of listening. Today, we're exploring offering unwavering support.
That's such a crucial aspect of friendship, Alex. It's easy to be a friend when things are smooth sailing, but true friendship shines brightest during storms, or even during overwhelming moments of joy. It's about showing up consistently.
Exactly. And showing up can mean so many things. It's not always about having the perfect words or a grand gesture. Often, it's the small, consistent actions that make the biggest difference. Think about it. Lisa, when you're going through something difficult, what do you appreciate most from a friend?
For me, it's knowing someone is there. A simple text asking how I'm doing, or a willingness to just sit with me, even in silence. It's knowing I'm not alone in whatever I'm facing. It's that sense of presence.
That presence is powerful, and it connects back to our episode on listening. When someone is going through a hard time, they often just need to feel heard and understood, not necessarily fixed. So, offering support often starts with listening without judgment. It means creating a safe space for them to express their feelings, their fears, or their frustrations without worrying about being criticized or lectured.
That makes sense. So, if a friend is going through a breakup, for instance, instead of immediately offering advice on what they should do, we should first let them talk about how they feel. Let them vent, let them cry.
Precisely. And then, when they're ready, you can ask how you can help. Do they need a distraction? Do they want to brainstorm solutions? Or do they just need someone to bring over dinner? Being supportive means asking, not assuming.
That's a great point. We can't read minds, and what one person needs might be different from another. Asking, how can I support you right now, is so much more effective than just jumping in with our own ideas.
And this applies to the good times too. We tend to focus a lot on supporting friends through difficulties, but celebrating their successes is just as important. When a friend achieves something, whether it's a promotion, a personal milestone, or even just a small victory, our genuine enthusiasm and celebration can be incredibly validating.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, imagine a friend finally gets that dream job they've been working towards. A simple, unreserved, that's amazing. I'm so incredibly happy for you. Can mean the world. It shows you're invested in their happiness.
Right? It's about not letting your own anxieties or insecurities overshadow their joy. Sometimes we might feel a twinge of jealousy, and that's human. But true friends manage those feelings and genuinely celebrate the other person's wins. It's about thinking, their success is not my failure.
That's a great way to frame it. It's about fostering a sense of shared joy and achievement. So, to recap, offering unwavering support means being present, listening without judgment, asking how you can help, and genuinely celebrating successes.
Exactly. And let's talk about reliability. One of the most fundamental aspects of being a supportive friend is being dependable. If you say you're going to do something, follow through. If you promise to call, call. If you offer a ride, be there. Small acts of reliability build trust, and trust is the bedrock of strong friendships.
That's so true. When a friend knows they can count on you, even for the little things, it creates a profound sense of security and strengthens the bond. It's like building a sturdy bridge between you and your friend, where they know they can cross over to find support whenever they need it.
And sometimes offering support means being the voice of reason, gently. If a friend is making a decision you genuinely believe could harm them, it's courageous to express your concerns, but it must be done with love and respect, and always from a place of wanting what's best for them.
That's a delicate dance, though. How do you offer a gentle caution without sounding critical or judgmental?
It comes down to framing. Instead of saying, you shouldn't do that, you could say, I'm feeling a little concerned about X. Have you considered why? It's about sharing your perspective and prompting further thought rather than dictating an outcome. And crucially, you have to be prepared to accept their final decision, even if it's not what you would have chosen. Your role is to support them, not control them.
That's a vital distinction. It's about offering guidance, not demanding obedience. And what about when the support doesn't feel reciprocated? Is there a point where you need to reevaluate?
That's a very real and important question. Friendship is a two-way street. While we should offer support generously, it's also healthy to notice if the balance is consistently off. If you're always the one showing up, always the one listening, always the one celebrating, and rarely receiving that in return, it's worth exploring. Perhaps a calm conversation is needed, or perhaps, over time, you might need to adjust your expectations or the energy you invest.
So, it's about healthy boundaries within the support system itself. You give, but you also need to receive to truly make it a sustainable and fulfilling connection.
Exactly. And the beauty of offering unwavering support is that it often inspires the same in return. When you consistently show up for your friends, you foster an environment of mutual care and commitment. They learn what good friendship looks like because you're modeling it.
It's a powerful ripple effect. So, we've talked about being present, listening, asking how to help, celebrating wins, being reliable, offering gentle guidance, and also ensuring that support is reciprocated. These are all key ingredients to being a truly supportive friend.
Absolutely. It's about being a consistent, reliable, and caring presence in your friends' lives through all of life's ups and downs. It's the quiet strength, the shared laughter, the comforting silence, and the enthusiastic applause when things go right. It's the heart of deep, lasting friendship.
So, the takeaway is that offering unwavering support isn't about grand gestures all the time, but about consistent, thoughtful actions and a genuine commitment to being there for your friends, both in their triumphs and their challenges.
Precisely. And by focusing on these principles, we can deepen our connections and be the kind of friends everyone cherishes. Next episode, making new friends, strategies for a thriving social circle. Welcome back. Last time, we explored offering unwavering support. Today, let's focus on making new friends for a thriving social circle.
Yes, Alex. This is such an important topic, especially for adults. It's easy to feel like our social circles are set in stone, or that meeting new people is something for younger days. But life changes, people move, circumstances shift, and our need for connection and new perspectives only grows.
Exactly, Lisa. And it can feel daunting, right? The thought of stepping outside your comfort zone, initiating conversations, it's enough to make anyone hesitate. But as we'll discuss today, it's absolutely achievable and incredibly rewarding. Remember when we learned about understanding your friendship inventory in episode 2? This is about actively expanding that inventory.
That's a great callback, Alex. So, where do we even begin with making new friends as an adult? It feels so different from school or college where you were just thrown together with people.
You're right, it is different. One of the biggest shifts is that you have to be more proactive. You have to intentionally put yourself in situations where you're likely to meet people with shared interests. Think about your hobbies, your passions, things you genuinely enjoy. Where do those activities naturally happen?
So, if I love reading, maybe a book club? Or if I'm into hiking, a local hiking group?
Precisely. These are fantastic starting points because you're immediately in a space with people who already have something in common with you. It's a natural conversation starter. Consider joining classes, workshops, or volunteer organizations related to your interests. Online communities can also be a great stepping stone, but the real connection often happens when you move those interactions offline.
That makes sense. It removes some of the pressure of, what do I say? Because you have a shared context. But what if you're not naturally outgoing? Initiating a conversation can still feel like a hurdle.
It absolutely can. My advice here is to start small and focus on observation. Listen to conversations around you. Notice opportunities to offer a relevant comment or ask a simple, open-ended question. For example, in that book club, you could say, I'm really curious about what you thought of the ending, or have you read anything else by this author?
So, it's about being present and genuinely curious about others, not just waiting for the perfect moment.
Exactly. And remember, most people are receptive to friendly interaction. We crave connection. Think of it as planting seeds. Not every seed will grow into a towering oak, and that's perfectly okay. You're planting seeds of potential friendship. The key is consistent, genuine engagement.
And how do we nurture those seeds? Once you've had that initial conversation, what's the next step to move from a pleasant chat to a potential friendship?
This is where consistency and gentle persistence come in. If you had a good conversation, don't be afraid to suggest a follow-up. It could be as simple as, it was great talking about X with you. Would you be interested in grabbing a coffee sometime next week to continue the chat? Or if you're in a group setting, we should all get together outside of this sometime.
That can feel vulnerable, suggesting a one-on-one meeting. What if they say no?
That's a fear we all have. But here's the mindset shift. A no isn't necessarily a rejection of you. It could be about timing, their own capacity, or a million other things. The important thing is the courage to ask. And if it's a no or a vague, maybe, you simply move on and continue planting other seeds. Don't let one hesitation deter you from the many possibilities out there.
So, it's about resilience, I suppose. And expanding your social circle isn't just about numbers, is it? It's about finding people who resonate with you.
Absolutely. You're looking for authentic connection. As you meet more people, you'll naturally gravitate towards those with whom you share values, a similar sense of humor, or mutual understanding. It's like finding your tribe. And don't discount people who might seem different from you on the surface. Often, the most enriching friendships come from unexpected places and diverse perspectives.
That's a wonderful point. We sometimes get stuck in our own echo chambers. So, to recap for our listeners, where should they look for potential friends? Places related to their hobbies and interests like clubs, classes, or volunteer groups. And how do they start conversations? By being present, curious, and asking open-ended questions.
Exactly. And the crucial step to nurture nascent connections is through gentle persistence, suggesting follow-up interactions, and remembering that resilience is key. It's about putting yourself out there consistently and authentically, looking for genuine resonance rather than just filling a void. Think of it as building a supportive network, brick by brick, with each genuine interaction.
It really does boil down to taking intentional action. It takes effort, but the rewards of a diverse and supportive friend group are immeasurable.
They truly are. And this proactive approach to making new connections is vital for a thriving social life, complementing the deep bonds we build with existing friends. So, if you've been feeling like your social circle needs a little expansion, I hope today's strategies give you the confidence to take those first steps. Next episode, we'll explore the fascinating world of friend group dynamics, navigating multiple relationships within a larger social circle. Welcome back. Last time, we explored practical strategies for making new friends. Now, let's tackle navigating the dynamics of friend groups. It's fascinating, isn't it, Lisa? Many of us aren't just juggling one-on-one friendships. We're often part of several distinct groups. Think about it. You might have your work friends, your college buddies, your hobby group, and maybe even a neighborhood posse. Each of these circles has its own unique rhythm and set of unspoken rules.
Absolutely, Alex. And sometimes, managing all these different connections can feel like a juggling act. How do you make sure you're giving enough attention to each group, or even to individuals within those groups, without feeling overwhelmed or stretched too thin? That's what I'm really curious about today.
That's the core challenge, and it boils down to effective management and a little bit of intentionality. First off, let's acknowledge that each group serves a different purpose. Your work friends might offer professional camaraderie and support, while your college friends might share a deep history and inside jokes that no one else understands. Recognizing this distinct value in each group helps you appreciate them for what they are.
So, it's not about trying to make every friend group into one big, harmonious unit. It's okay for them to be different.
Exactly. Trying to force everyone into the same mold can be a recipe for disaster. Instead, think of it like building a diverse portfolio of relationships. Each group brings something unique to your life. The key is understanding how to balance your time and energy across these different spheres. Imagine you have a garden. You wouldn't plant all the same flowers in one bed. You'd have different sections for different needs and aesthetics. Your friendships work similarly.
That's a great analogy, Alex. So, how do we practically manage that balance? Does it involve setting boundaries like we discussed in episode 6?
In part, yes. Boundaries are crucial. It's about knowing your capacity. You can't attend every single event for every single group. It's okay to say, I can't make it this time, but I'd love to catch up with you individually soon. This is where practicing clear communication, as we covered in episode 7, becomes paramount. Being honest about your availability and energy levels with your friends is vital.
And I imagine it's also important to communicate with the group as a whole, right? Especially when it comes to coordinating events.
Absolutely. When organizing group events, clarity is your best friend. Clearly communicate the date, time, location, and any expectations. And be prepared for different levels of participation. Not everyone will be able to make every gathering, and that's normal. Don't take it personally. Their inability to attend a specific event doesn't diminish their overall value to the group or their friendship with you.
It's easy to get caught up in the idea that if someone isn't present at every single get-together, they're somehow drifting away. But that's not necessarily true.
Precisely. And this brings us to nurturing individual connections within the group. While the group dynamic is important, remember that friendships are fundamentally between individuals. Take the time to check in with people one-on-one. A quick text, a short coffee break, or a brief phone call can make a world of difference. It shows you value them as a person, not just as a member of the group.
So, even within a group setting, actively pursuing individual connections helps strengthen the overall bond of the group, doesn't it?
It truly does. When you have strong one-on-one relationships, those individuals are more likely to feel connected to the larger group. Think of it like the spokes of a wheel connected to the hub. The spokes are the individual friendships, and the hub is the group itself. Strong spokes make for a sturdy wheel.
That makes so much sense. What about conflict within a group? That can be a minefield.
Conflict within groups is inevitable, just like in any relationship dynamic. The key here is to address issues proactively and with respect. If a conflict arises between two members, encourage them to talk it out directly, using the communication skills we discussed back in episode 7. As a group member, your role might be to facilitate a calm conversation rather than taking sides. Sometimes, the best approach is to allow the individuals involved to resolve it themselves. It's a chance for them to practice navigating disagreements, which ultimately strengthens their bond.
And if the conflict involves you, then applying those same empathetic listening and boundary setting skills becomes even more critical.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach. You're not just managing the group, you're managing your relationships within it. Be mindful of how you contribute to the group's overall atmosphere. Are you a positive force? Do you uplift others? Do you foster a sense of belonging? These are questions worth asking yourself regularly.
It sounds like a lot of this comes down to intentionality. You can't just let friend groups run on autopilot. You have to actively participate and contribute.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Intentionality is the watchword for navigating friend group dynamics. It means consciously deciding how you want to show up, how you want to contribute, and how you want to nurture each connection. It's about being present, being communicative, and being respectful of the unique value each person and group brings to your life. Remember that each group is a constellation of individual stars, and your effort can help each star shine brighter, which in turn illuminates the whole constellation.
So, to recap, we've talked about appreciating the unique value of each friend group, balancing your time and energy, setting boundaries, practicing clear communication, nurturing individual connections within groups, and addressing conflict constructively. It really is about being a thoughtful and active participant in your social world.
You've got it. It's about building a rich tapestry of friendships where each thread, whether it's a one-on-one bond or a group connection, is woven with care and attention. This intentional approach helps ensure that your social circle remains a source of joy and support. Next episode, conflict and resolution, strengthening bonds through disagreement. Welcome back. Last time, we explored the fascinating dynamics of friend groups. Now, we're diving into a topic many of us shy away from: conflict and resolution in friendships. It might sound a little scary, but honestly, navigating disagreements is key to strengthening those bonds.
That's right, Alex. Conflict is a natural part of any close relationship, and friendships are no exception. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly shapes the future of our connections. Today, we want to equip listeners with the tools to move through conflict constructively, not just survive it.
Exactly. Think about it. If two people agree on everything all the time, are they truly engaging deeply? Or are they perhaps avoiding deeper conversations? Healthy conflict, when handled well, shows that you care enough about the friendship to work through issues. It's a sign of maturity and commitment.
So, where do we even begin when a disagreement pops up? It's so easy to either shut down or to escalate things.
The first step is to shift our mindset. Instead of viewing conflict as a personal attack or a sign of the friendship failing, try to see it as an opportunity to understand each other better, to clarify misunderstandings, and to find solutions that work for both of you. It's problem solving for your friendship.
Problem solving for your friendship. I like that. It reframes it from something negative to something actionable. What's a practical first step in that problem-solving process?
Active listening. This is something we touched on in previous episodes about communication, but it's absolutely critical here. When you're in disagreement, it's easy to just wait for your turn to speak, to formulate your defense. But active listening means truly hearing what the other person is saying, not just the words, but the feelings behind them.
So, not just hearing, but understanding. How do we do that when emotions are running high?
It takes practice. Try to put yourself in their shoes for a moment. Ask clarifying questions like, so, if I understand correctly, you're feeling X because of Y. This shows you're engaged and trying to grasp their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. And crucially, avoid interrupting. Let them finish their thoughts.
That's a great point about not interrupting. It feels like such a basic thing, but in the heat of the moment, it's so tempting. What else helps to de-escalate?
Focus on the issue, not the person. It's easy for disagreements to spiral into personal criticisms. Instead of saying, you always do this, try phrasing it as, when this happens, I feel. It keeps the conversation centered on the behavior or situation that caused the issue, rather than attacking your friend's character.
When this happens, I feel. That's a really powerful way to express yourself without making the other person defensive. It focuses on your experience.
Precisely. And speaking of defensiveness, we also need to be aware of our own. Sometimes, our reaction to a friend's complaint can be an immediate need to defend ourselves. If you find yourself getting defensive, take a breath. Acknowledge their feelings first. You can always explain your side, but often, feeling heard is the most important step to resolution.
So, to recap for our listeners so far, view conflict as an opportunity, practice active listening, focus on the issue, not the person, and be mindful of defensiveness. What happens after we've expressed ourselves and listened?
Now comes the resolution part. This doesn't always mean a perfect compromise where both parties get exactly what they want. Sometimes, resolution means agreeing to disagree respectfully. But ideally, you're looking for a way forward. This might involve setting new boundaries, as we discussed previously, or finding a new approach to the situation.
Finding a new approach. Can you give us an example of that?
Sure. Imagine two friends who love to plan outings together, but one is always last minute with plans and the other needs more notice. This can become a point of conflict. Instead of one friend always feeling stressed or the other feeling controlled, they could resolve it by agreeing on a system.
Like what?
Perhaps they agree that for bigger events, like weekend trips, the planner needs a week's notice. But for casual coffee dates, same day or the day before is fine. They've identified the core issue, the need for different levels of planning, and found a solution that accommodates both. It's a win-win, or at least a workable for both scenario.
That's a fantastic analogy. It's about finding that sweet spot that respects both individuals' needs.
And remember, resolution isn't always immediate. Some conflicts may require more than one conversation. It's perfectly okay to say, this is a lot to think about. Can we revisit this tomorrow? Give yourselves space to process.
That's a great point. We don't have to solve everything in one go. It's about the ongoing effort.
Absolutely. And throughout this process, it's important to remember the foundation of your friendship. Remind yourselves of the positive qualities you appreciate in each other. This can help to soften the edges during a difficult conversation.
So, we've talked about approaching conflict, listening, expressing ourselves, and finding resolutions. But what if the conflict is particularly deep or recurring?
That's where intentional effort comes in. If a friendship is truly valuable, you might need to actively work on repairing ruptures. This could involve a sincere apology, acknowledging the hurt caused, and demonstrating through actions that you're committed to change. Apologies, when genuine, can be incredibly powerful healing tools.
A sincere apology means more than just saying I'm sorry, doesn't it?
It does. It often involves understanding why your actions were hurtful, expressing that understanding, and committing to not repeating the behavior. It's showing you've learned from the experience. And sometimes, A simple gesture of kindness or making an effort to reconnect after a difficult period can go a long way in rebuilding trust.
It sounds like, fundamentally, conflict resolution in friendships is about empathy, clear communication, and a shared commitment to the relationship.
Exactly. It's about valuing the friendship enough to navigate the challenging waters. And when you can do that, you emerge with an even stronger, more resilient bond. Disagreements, when processed healthily, can actually deepen intimacy and trust. They prove that the friendship can withstand the tests.
You know, Alex, this episode really solidifies something we've been building on throughout the series. The communication skills, the boundary setting, the empathy, it all culminates in how we handle disagreements. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about mastering it.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Mastering conflict resolution doesn't mean the absence of disagreements. It means having the confidence and the tools to move through them constructively. It's a vital skill for building those deeper, lasting friendships we're all aiming for.
So, to wrap up this episode, remember that conflict isn't the end of a friendship, but often a test that, when passed, can make it even stronger. Focus on listening, expressing your needs clearly and kindly, and seeking understanding rather than just victory.
And remember to be patient with yourselves and with your friends. Building these skills takes time and practice. Next episode, we'll be looking at how to nurture those stronger, more resilient friendships over the long haul. Next episode, nurturing the long haul, sustaining friendships over time. Welcome back. Last time, we delved into the crucial art of navigating conflict and achieving resolution in our friendships. Today, we're shifting our focus to something equally vital, nurturing the long haul, sustaining friendships over time.
That's such an important topic, Alex. We've spent this series building incredible foundations, learning how to connect, be vulnerable, set boundaries, and even resolve disagreements. But what happens after we've done all that? How do we keep those precious friendships alive and thriving, especially when life throws its curveballs?
Exactly, Lisa. Friendships, much like well-tended gardens, require consistent effort and attention to flourish. They aren't static, they evolve alongside us. The strategies we've discussed, quality time, vulnerability, support, these aren't one-time fixes. They're practices we need to weave into the fabric of our ongoing relationships.
So, it's about that sustained commitment. It's easy to be a great friend when things are smooth sailing, but what about when distance creeps in, or life gets incredibly busy, or our interests start diverging? How do we bridge those gaps?
One of the most powerful tools is intentionality. We have to decide that this friendship is worth the effort and then actively make that effort. This can look like scheduling regular check-ins, even if they're short. Think of it like setting a recurring appointment in your calendar for something truly important, because your friendships are truly important.
I love that framing. It's about prioritizing it, not just letting it happen. So, for friends who live far away, what are some practical ways to maintain that connection? We can't just rely on occasional social media likes, right?
Absolutely not. For long-distance friendships, proactive communication is key. Regular phone calls or video chats are fantastic because you get to hear the tone of their voice, see their expressions, and have a more natural back and forth. Even sending a quick text message saying, "thinking of you," can make a huge difference. It's a small gesture, but it says, "you're on my mind."
It's about closing that physical distance with emotional closeness. And what about when life gets overwhelmingly busy? We all have periods where work, family, or personal challenges consume our time and energy. How do we tend to friendships then without feeling completely depleted?
That's where honest communication comes in. Instead of disappearing, which can lead to misunderstandings, it's better to proactively tell your friend, "hey, I'm going through a really demanding period right now. I might not be as available as usual, but I value our friendship immensely and will reach out as soon as I can. Most true friends will understand and appreciate that honesty.
That's such a relief to hear. It takes the pressure off feeling like you have to be the perfectly available friend all the time. So, we've talked about busy periods and distance. What about when our life paths start to diverge? For instance, one friend gets married and has kids, and the other remains single, or interests change significantly.
This is a very common challenge, and it requires a willingness to be curious and adaptable. Instead of focusing on what's different, try to find common ground or express genuine interest in what's important to your friend now. Ask them about their new experiences, share what's significant in your life, and find shared activities that still work for both of you. Perhaps it's a monthly coffee date or a shared hobby you can pick up.
It's about evolving with the friendship, rather than expecting it to stay the same as it was in, say, college or your early 20s. It's about expanding your understanding of each other's lives and finding new ways to connect within that evolution.
Precisely. And remember, not all friendships are meant to be at the same intensity level all the time. Some friendships will naturally ebb and flow. The goal isn't to keep every single friendship at peak intensity 24/7, but to ensure that the friendships you value most receive the sustenance they need to remain healthy and meaningful. This often means accepting that sometimes a deeper connection might mean fewer, but more meaningful interactions.
So, it's a balance between consistent effort and realistic expectations. We're not aiming for constant, perfect proximity, but for consistent, genuine connection, adapting to life's changes.
Exactly. And along with intentionality and communication, maintaining a sense of shared history and appreciation is vital. Remind yourselves and each other why you became friends in the first place. Share memories. Celebrate milestones, big or small. This reinforces the bond and reminds you of the enduring value of your connection.
Like looking back at old photos and laughing about shared jokes. It anchors you in the past while reinforcing the present commitment. And this effort, this tending, it's not just about preventing friendships from fading, it's about making them richer.
Absolutely. Sustained friendships provide a unique form of support and understanding that only comes with time and shared experience. They become our anchors, our confidants, and our cheerleaders throughout life's journey. Investing in them is investing in our own well-being and happiness. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and the rewards are immeasurable.
So, to recap, for long-hauling friendships, we need intentionality, prioritizing connection even when life is hectic. We need proactive and honest communication, especially when facing distance or busy periods. We need adaptability and curiosity to navigate evolving interests and life paths, finding new ways to connect. And finally, we need to cherish shared history and express appreciation to reinforce the enduring strength of our bonds.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It's about recognizing that friendship is a living, breathing entity that requires ongoing care and attention to truly thrive over the long haul.
This has been so insightful, Alex. It really emphasizes that the work we've discussed throughout this series isn't a one and done deal, but a continuous, rewarding practice.
Next episode, we'll be exploring the concept of the friendship ecosystem, how to build and nurture a supportive network of friends. Welcome back. Last time we explored nurturing friendships over time. Now let's build a supportive network.
I'm so excited about this, Alex. We've spent 12 episodes exploring so many different facets of friendship. It feels like this episode is about bringing it all together.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of your friendships not as individual, isolated connections, but as a dynamic, interconnected system. This friendship ecosystem is the network of people in your life who offer different kinds of support, encouragement, and connection. It's about having a diverse group of friends, each playing a unique and valuable role.
So, it's like a garden, Alex, where you need different plants for different purposes. Some provide shade, some attract pollinators, some offer beautiful blooms, and others provide food. You wouldn't want just one type of plant because if it fails, the whole garden struggles.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. One friend might be your go-to for deep, vulnerable conversations. Another might be your adventure buddy, always ready for a new experience. You might have a colleague who's also a friend, offering professional support and understanding. And then there's the friend who's simply your cheerleader, always believing in you. Each part of this ecosystem is important.
And these different friends often fulfill needs we might not even realize we have until they're met. It's easy to fall into the trap of expecting one person or one small group to be everything for us. But that's a lot of pressure on them, and it can leave us feeling disappointed if they can't meet every single one of our needs.
Absolutely. The first step in building a robust friendship ecosystem is understanding this diversity of needs. Remember our episode on the friendship inventory? That's where you started assessing what you already have. Now we look at what's missing or what could be strengthened. Do you have someone to brainstorm big ideas with? Do you have someone to simply enjoy a quiet evening with?
It's like auditing your support system. And then, once you identify those gaps, you can actively work towards finding people who can fill them. This connects back to our strategies for making new friends. It wasn't just about making any friends, but about making friends who add a different dimension to your life.
Precisely. And it's not just about making new connections. It's about nurturing the ones you have. Each relationship within your ecosystem requires attention and care. Remember our discussion on quality time? Making time for the different people in your network ensures they feel valued and connected. Even a quick text or a short coffee break can maintain those threads.
And a truly healthy ecosystem is one where mutual support is key. It's not just about what you receive, but also what you give. Supporting your friends in their own endeavors, celebrating their successes, and being there during their challenges strengthens the entire network. It creates a ripple effect of positivity.
That leads us to the idea of interdependence. In a strong ecosystem, friends can lean on each other. If you're going through a tough time, you might lean on your most vulnerable confidant for emotional support. But maybe you'll lean on your practical friend for help with a specific task. They don't all have to be there for the same thing.
This is so important, Alex. It reduces the burden on any single friend and ensures you have a comprehensive safety net. It also means you're offering different pieces of yourself to different people, which can actually make each individual friendship feel more special and less overwhelming.
And as we've learned throughout this series, navigating conflict is crucial for maintaining the health of any relationship within this ecosystem. Disagreements are inevitable, but how we resolve them determines whether they become a weakness or a point of growth for the friendship. A well-functioning ecosystem can weather storms.
It feels like this episode is a culmination of everything we've discussed. We started with the importance of friendships, then moved to understanding ourselves and our existing connections, learned how to reconnect and build new ones, and now we see how all these elements create a powerful, supportive network.
Exactly. The friendship ecosystem is the sum of all these parts working in harmony. It's about intentionality, actively cultivating a network that enriches your life and allows you to enrich the lives of others. It's about understanding that different friends offer different kinds of value, and that's a beautiful thing. Don't underestimate the power of having a diverse group of people who care about you.
So, to recap for our listeners, a friendship ecosystem is your diverse network of supportive relationships. Building it involves understanding your needs, actively making new connections, nurturing existing friendships, and engaging in mutual support. It's about recognizing that different friends fill different roles, creating a robust and resilient social support system. It's not about having one perfect friend, but a collection of wonderful people who enrich your life in unique ways.
And as we prepare for our final episode, I want to emphasize that this is an ongoing process. Your ecosystem will evolve as you do. Continue to nurture these connections, be open to new ones, and always appreciate the incredible gift of friendship. Your friends are your chosen family, and building a strong ecosystem is a powerful way to invest in your own well-being and happiness.
That's beautifully put, Alex. It's about creating a tapestry of connection.
And that's what we'll be celebrating in our final episode, Gratitude and Growth. We'll reflect on the journey we've taken together and how to continue fostering a spirit of appreciation for our friendships. Next episode, Gratitude and Growth, celebrating your friendship journey. Welcome back to Build Stronger Friendships. We're at our final episode.
That's right, Alex. Episode 14, where we're reflecting on our entire journey. We've covered so much, from understanding our existing friendships to making new connections.
Exactly, Lisa. We've discussed laying the foundation, the art of reconnection, investing quality time, and the crucial gateway to intimacy, vulnerability. We've also navigated healthy boundaries and the power of empathetic listening.
And importantly, we've explored offering unwavering support, strategies for making new friends, understanding friend group dynamics, and the art of conflict resolution. We also delved into nurturing friendships for the long haul and building that supportive network we call the friendship ecosystem.
It's been a comprehensive exploration, hasn't it? And now, as we bring this series to a close, our focus shifts to two powerful closing acts, gratitude and growth. This is about celebrating where we are and continuing to cultivate these precious relationships.
So, let's start with gratitude. For many of us, the relationships we have are gifts. They contribute to our well-being. What does expressing gratitude in friendship look like, Alex?
It's about actively acknowledging the people in our lives and what they bring. It's not just saying thank you verbally, though that's important. It's about recognizing their impact. Think about that friend who always makes you laugh when you're down, or the one who offers practical help without being asked. Gratitude means noticing that and appreciating it, perhaps through a thoughtful text, a small gesture, or simply telling them how much their presence means to you.
That makes sense. It's about being present and aware of the positive contributions friends make. It's like tending to a garden. You appreciate the blooms, but you also notice the soil and the sunshine that made them possible.
A perfect analogy, Lisa. And speaking of gardens, our series has been about planting seeds, nurturing them, and watching them grow. We've equipped listeners with tools and insights. Now is the time to celebrate the progress they've made. Perhaps you've reconnected with an old friend, initiated a deeper conversation, or set a boundary that helped a friendship flourish. These are all moments of growth to be proud of.
It's about celebrating the small wins, isn't it? Not just the grand gestures, but the consistent effort. It's easy to get caught up in everyday life and forget to pause and acknowledge how far we've come.
Absolutely. And this celebration naturally leads into the idea of continued growth. Friendship isn't a static thing. It's a living, evolving part of our lives. The skills we've discussed, empathetic listening, vulnerability, conflict resolution, these aren't one-time lessons. They require ongoing practice.
So, this final episode is really a springboard for the future. It's about taking what we've learned and embedding it into our daily lives, continuing to nurture those connections with intention.
Precisely. We've covered the importance of adult friendships, how to take stock of your existing connections, and practical ways to reach out and deepen those bonds. We've emphasized the value of quality time and the courage it takes to be vulnerable.
We've also gone through how to set healthy boundaries, the art of truly listening and supporting one another, and effective strategies for expanding your social circle. We explored friend group dynamics and how to navigate disagreements constructively.
And as we wrap up, remember that nurturing friendships is a long-term commitment, building that vital support network, and ultimately, fostering a lifelong journey of gratitude and growth in all our relationships.
It truly is a journey, and this series has aimed to provide you with a map and a compass. By focusing on gratitude, we acknowledge the incredible richness that friendships bring. And by committing to growth, we ensure those friendships will continue to thrive and evolve.
So, as we sign off on Build Stronger Friendships, we encourage you to look around at the people in your life. Express your appreciation, and then keep practicing. Keep listening, keep connecting, keep being present. Your friendships are worth the ongoing effort.
They truly are. Thank you for joining us on this 14-episode journey. We hope you feel more empowered and inspired to cultivate meaningful connections throughout your life.
Thanks for listening to the series.